I can't believe you played that bit of the clip, but okay.
I can't believe I played that out. But anyway.
Films on Thursdays with Eclipse Cinemas Bundoran, flying high to bring you the best films in Ireland. Eclipse Cinemas.
Well, it's time to join our man at the movies. It's Thursday. Colin McFadden standing by on the Zoom. Looking very well today. Very suited and booted. I'm telling you, you'll have to check out the old video. Colin, how was the week of the movies?
It's not been bad at all. Obviously Batman's dominating everything. Sorry, I was bracing myself there for you to say top of the morning, right? I really thought you were going to start with a bit of paddywhackery. So, I don't always get it right. So it's been a busy week. As I said, Batman's dominating all, but we've a very, very different week this week. And I must admit, I love talking about the new movies. I love when we have exciting new stuff, but this is fun too. And I like the fact that we're getting to talk about a couple of classics, one modern classic, one older classic, and a couple of things that we might just hear a lot about in the next couple of weeks, which is why I've got my dicky bow on. We're all dressed up because we're going to talk some awards. We're going to talk some Oscars, but I think we'll start talking about some Irish movies first. What do you think?
I think so too, because next week is a very special week indeed. It is indeed. It's Patrick's weekend, and it's you've got a kind of a long weekend coming up. So it'll be great to go to the movies and see some great Irish movies.
Yeah, especially we've got with the 2 days, but also look, it'll be no surprise to anyone who listens to us regularly. I love when we get Irish movies. I love big Hollywood blockbusters. Batman was great and all that sort of stuff, but I love when we've Irish movies, and there's only so many of them. And last week, if you remember, I was very excited that Arok was back, the Irish language movie, and we've got a couple back this week. Now, let's talk about the newer one first, and then we'll go to the one where you have the clip up. So Wolfwalkers, we talked a lot about at the time, but it's another one. I know, but we don't want to mention the pandemic anymore, but it is one of those that was really badly hit by it. They were so excited. It's Cartoon Saloon, who brought us Song of the Sea. They won Oscars and everything for the Breadwinner, and they're really excited about this one. And of course, everything locked down, and it did get a limited release, but and I wouldn't blame anyone. People maybe didn't want to go to the cinema, and certainly didn't want to bring a big family group to the cinema at the time. It was safe, but sure, who knew? We were all nervous. And it's such a beautiful, amazing Irish story about a young English girl who goes with her father, and they're hired to hunt down the last of the wolves in Ireland. But then they find that there's a little bit more to it than that. And it's set in Kilkenny, and she meets this Irish girl who may or may not be a wolf walker. I absolutely adore this. The imagery, it's real old Irish Celtic art, but done in a modern way. And families of all ages will love this. And it just, people didn't see it. Okay, it is on Apple, but not everyone has Apple, and it kind of missed the boat. And when it did, we did try and re-release it, but it was the same time as Peter Rabbit and stuff like that. It had no chance. Now, we're in a little gap between movies. It's an Irish weekend. We've got the long weekend. I'm really delighted because I really think that people will go and see it this time. And it's such a beautiful movie. And speaking of great movies that people have seen,
yes,
let's talk. Well, do you know what? Will we play the clip first and see if people recognize it? Let's give that a go. Let's give that a go.
Here we go.
You about the quiet man. He's John Wayne in a picture you'll soon be cheering. It's the story of Sean Thornton, a right-intended man who came from America to forget his past in Innisfree. There he met a fiery red-headed lass, and the village marriage broker went to work.
That's a pretty bonnet you have on.
Bonnet? Don't you be talking to me about bonnets. After leaving mine stuck up there like a...
Easy now.
So, yes, it's The Quiet Man. I wish they made trailers like that again where they introduced it rather than just showing clips with dramatic music. So it is The Quiet Man, which, has its dated moments, as we just heard there. But it is a classic. And what's so interesting about it is, so it was made in the 50s, about the 1920s. But watching it now shows the whole history of Ireland, and especially maybe for younger people who think that, Granny and Grandad, they were all fuddy-duddies. They didn't understand things. Because while it's very much of its time, the themes are timeless. Yes. There's so much going on. There's so much, people go, it was ahead of its time. Look, again, there's a reason you are where you are. We didn't spring out of the ground, if you know what I mean. Life went on beforehand. People had the same emotions and feelings, and it's such a clever movie. Yes, as I said, some of it's dated, but look, it's Steven Spielberg's favorite movie. He
Yes.
knows a thing or two about movies, and people might remember that it's in E.T. There's a famous scene that's reenacted in E.T. It really excited. It's back. We had it back a couple of years ago, but it was just on late one evening. And I think there's lots of people who maybe would like to bring some older members of their family to see it. So I'm really delighted that there's kind of a matinee showing, there's an early evening showing, and a nighttime showing. So people could go at the times that suit them and suit their family. It's still a spectacular movie. And I did it for a college project. And I really thought because you know me, I'm such an old woke lefty type. I really thought I was going to go, oh yeah, it shouldn't be done. I really enjoyed it, Jamie. I really loved it. It's great. And it won all the Oscars that year. It won Best Actor, or no, it didn't win Best Actor, because of course he didn't win till Turget. But it won Best Director, it won Best Movie, and it was a huge hit. And they really thought it was going to be an absolute flop. And of course, it changed the image of Ireland for good and for worse in America for years. It's a great movie. Definitely go and see it. So that's playing this weekend. And of course, top of the morning, St. Patrick's Day as well. Because you'd have to, wouldn't you? You just have to.
Yeah,
But,
you want two more to mention there.
yeah, speaking of Oscars, so because it's an odd week, and with the Oscar ceremony coming up quite soon, we thought, look, Jamie, I suppose if there's many things that people could accuse me of when I'm on this radio show, but surely lack of enthusiasm is not one of them. I really do I love my TV, I love my sport, but I love my movies. And I'm very passionate about, there's some great movies that people don't get to see. And we had a kind of quiet week before. We've really big releases next weekend. And I said, there's loads of people who'll see these movies now and the Oscars and go, oh, we should have gone to see that. So I talked to the boss. I managed to persuade them to bring back a few of the big movies we talked about a lot last year, and they're all just for $4.50. So on Friday night, we've got West Side Story, which is nominated for Best Film. Then we've got June, which you and I raved about, also nominated for Best
Can't
Film.
wait for the next one.
Yeah. We've got Nightmare Alley, Best Film. Then King Richard, Best Actor, and Spencer for Best Actress. And we think most of them are going to win the awards. Now, the one I didn't mention that I think might win Best Film, I don't think it'll win Best Director, but it'll win Best Film, is also shown, which is Belfast. I'm gonna put my neck on the line, Jamie. I think Belfast will win. My favorite, as much as I love Belfast, I wish June would win, but I think Belfast is going to win. But it gives people a chance to see these movies because, it was weird times those movies came out. Maybe there's a couple of people who feel more comfortable in going to the cinema now and more able to, and they have one chance. It's only those nights, but there's only those chances. And that's not even counting Mr. Monday, which Death in Venice, Kenneth Branagh again, the Return of the Moustache, that's back too. So there's lots of choice this weekend. And I think when it's a holiday weekend, it's nice not to just do the normal, the movie company sent these movies out at this time because they want, Batman's brilliant, but it's not for everyone. So such a variety. The movies we talked about there, from Batman to The Quiet Man, it's such a range from Wolf Walkers to West Side Story. There's a bit of alliteration I'm quite proud of coming up with. And I think that's a great selection of movies for the bank holiday weekend. And sure, if the sun shines, everyone will go for the parade on Thursday and nobody comes to pictures. But if it rains over the weekend, your old pals at Eclipse Bundoran got you covered, which is always a good thing.
At $4.50, I tell you.
Yeah.
You
can't go wrong with that. You wouldn't get a pint on St. Patrick's Day for that.
Anyway, you're not here next week. You'll be very busy at the cinema, with all the movies. But you'll be here the following week. Anything we should watch out for?
One I'm very excited about. It's called The Phantom of the Open. And it's a true story about a guy called Morris who was determined to get into the British Open to play golf. There was only one slight problem. There's only one slight problem. He was no good at golf. This looks absolutely brilliant. I'm really going to enjoy this one. And then we've got Nan the movie, which I don't think's for me, but I really think lots of people. It's Catherine Tate's character. That's coming out. I've seen an ad for that. Yeah, and she's people love that. And then there's a movie called X, which is going to be great for the scary movie people. But I don't know how I'm going to talk about it on the radio because it's about people making. How would we put this? A French movie. Would we accept that term? Kissing and stuff, if you know what I mean. And then suddenly it turns into a horror movie. It looks very good, but we'll kind of skirt around it. After all, we go out at 5:45. There's only so much we can say. We won't be playing the clip of that one when we're back. I tell you that much. But I think The Phantom of the Open, people who've loved Belfast, people who've loved The Duke, I think this is another one of a run of really good, interesting, true life stories with that make us feel good. And I think especially at the moment, God love, the news is full of doom and gloom, and it's right, we should know what's going on in the world. But sometimes we need to switch off and see a bit of joy and a bit of fun. And I think a lot of the movies, despite the very dated clip of The Quiet Man that we're going to get into trouble for, but despite that, yeah, that's true. We're always in trouble. Sure. Yeah. What can you do? A bit of joy and a bit of fun in the cinema, because that's what cinema is about. It's about empathy and about joy and about enjoying yourself and immersing yourself in a different world and getting into the dark and forgetting about your troubles and see what the silver screen has for us.
Okay, right. Oh, look, I couldn't have put it better myself. I tell you, if he wasn't doing this, he'd be a poet, don't you know? Look, enjoy the movies. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks' time back here, and have a great St. Patrick's weekend. Okay.
Top of the morning, be gosh, and all everything else.
Here we go. There it goes. Thanks, Collie. Talk to you in 2 weeks.
Bye.